Hey,
Everybody. So this time around, going to evaluate Philip Morris. It's a stock that I personally own, and today I want to pretty much break down the pros and cons of owning this particular single stock in the year 2025. A bit of the background gameplay. Every now and then I run duos with the homie. Despite me just getting brutally murked right there. This match was a good match. So we're gonna play clips of it in the background. Uh, you know, just clipping out the boring parts of the gameplay. But anyways, back to the pros and cons of owning Philip Morris. So it's definitely a tobacco giant, but it's in transition. So when you hear of Philip Morris, your first thought should be cigarettes, and you're definitely not wrong if you had that initial idea. This is the company that's behind Marlboro. So this particular cigarette or tobacco brand is probably the most recognizable around the world. But why many people don't realize that Philip Morris International has been going through a big shift. It's trying to move away from traditional cigarettes and into what's called smoke-free future. Whether you support that mission or not, investors have taken notice, and it has particularly gotten my notice or my attention, and pretty much why I am evaluating this particular stock and why I keep owning us. I keep holding this particular stock. So in today's video, we're gonna dive into a Philip Morris stock. The ticket symbol is PM to figure out whether this high yielding, globally recognized brand is a smart investment in this year. So off with the pros. Why some investors still like PM? It is a high dividend yield type of stock. So one of the reasons why investors hold PM is the dividend itself. This dividend sits currently above 5%. That's significantly higher than what you get from most blue chip stocks. For income focused portfolios, that kind of return is hard to ignore. The second pro is it's leading the global brand presence. So Philip Morris operates in 180 plus countries and owns some of the most valuable tobacco brands on the planet. Marlboro alone dominates the premium segments in many international markets. This brand power gives PM pricing control and customer loyalty. The third pro is that it is shifting to smoke-free products. So the company is heavily investing in reduced risk products, including IQ OS. It is a heated tobacco system that's gaining traction in Europe and Asia. PM has also stated global. Sorry, PM has a stated goal to generate over 50% of its revenue by smoke-free products in 2025. So it shows that it is serious about its transformation from harmful products to smoke-free products. So it has a strong. So the fourth pro is strong cash flow and its global scale. Despite declining cigarette volumes in some areas, PM continues to generate strong cash flow. Its global footprint gives it the flexibility to weather regional regulations or economic pressure, and it often uses that cash to support dividends and repurchase shares. The last pro I want to cover right now is the resilience in economic downturns. Tobacco is considered recession resistant. People tend to continue smoking or use nicotine products even during tough times. That gives PM some built-in stability that other consumer companies may lack. So on to the cons. So you can't ignore the risks that comes with holding this particular stock. Regulations and legal headwinds is definitely the first on this list. So governments worldwide are cracking down harder on tobacco, from graphic warning labels to flavor bans and outright sales restrictions. The legal environment is a major risk for PM. Plus, stricter regulations around newer products is starting to emerge too. So the second con is its declining in cigarette volumes. Cigarette use is in a steady long decline, especially in North America and Europe. Even though PM doesn't operate in the United States, uh, Altria does, however. This global trend still affects its bottom line. The smoke-free shift is necessary, but it's not moving as fast as some investors would like. The third con is the ethical investing pushback. What this means is that the PM stock is often excluded from ESG portfolios and ethical investing funds. Some investors may avoid tobacco companies altogether, which can limit demand for stock in certain market segments. The next con is the currency risk from global operations, because PM earns revenue internationally. Currency swings, especially a strong US dollar, can hurt profits, which can hurt profits when foreign sales are converted back into USD. That can impact earnings even if sales stay solid. And essentially, what this means in a more digestible sense is that a strong dollar essentially means it takes a lot more for a local currency to make a dollar, right? So if a dollar, for example, from in Argentina, I know in Argentina peso for the most part, 1 grand Argentina pesos is equal to $1. So if a dollar is so a stronger dollar just means that it takes a lot more of the local currency to make up one single dollar. So in my example, all it means is that it would take more than a thousand pesos to complete a US dollar. That's all this means. So the last con is the uncertainty around the future of nicotine. So while PM's vision is a smoke-free future, nicotine itself remains controversial. Long-term health studies on newer products are still ongoing, and it's unclear how governments and consumers will respond in the years ahead. So even though it's serious about its transition, it is still something relatively new and untested. So it still begs the question whether or not it's going to be successful, or is it going to be more of a pain than expected. So now the important question that I want to ask everybody here. So who is Philip Morris stock for? So PM isn't for everybody, but it's appealing to certain types of investors. If you're looking for consistent dividends, high cash flows, and exposure to international markets, then PM can play a solid role in a diversified portfolio. That said, you will need to feel comfortable with the ethical concerns and regulatory risks. It's a class case of balancing the income and stability against long-term disruption and local pressure. So my closing thoughts and call to action for those who would like to consider this particular stock. So PM is a company in transition, is trying to reinvent itself without losing what made it successful in the first place. It's stable, it plays well, and it's global, but also faces serious challenges that investors can't ignore. So what do you think? Is PM stock a smart long-term income play? Or is the tobacco industry on the way out, and no matter how it evolves, it's going out the door? So personally, I am invested in PM, in Philip Morris stocks. I think for perhaps like 2 years now, pushing towards 2 years. I have seen consistent growth in both. The stock value has increased, and because I'm on multiples, then I just see a multiplication of my earnings, or the growth, unrealized gains, right? And I've also seen a bunch of dividends money kick in. So because I have been invested in PM for some time, I'm liking the stock, regardless of the ethical concerns that one may have with owning a stocks of a company that is known to have these type of stocks, or regardless of a company that is known to have products that are harmful. Regardless of that fact, I still own it. I don't specifically smoke, so I think, considering, I guess if you want to call me selfish or whatever, considering considering my own personal benefit, I think it makes sense from that perspective. But if you want to change that perspective to overall health concerns, overall the damage that these tobacco related products have caused, then it just begs a different topic to have overall. But anyways, fellas, I personally am invested in PM, and I'm liking it thus far. I've seen dividends. I've seen an increase in its stock, in the value stock, and overall I'm pleased with Philip Morris stock in just from an investing perspective. All right then, fellas, later.
Inside, fire station. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. I think it might be bottom.
SDBR, ready for launch.
FFB, danger close. Over.
Open the door, bro. Oh yeah, it was inside. Just fucking camping, bro. Fucking camping us, bro.
Nice